invitation and signed up, you would have seen that the REV program is an all-encompassing initiative focused mainly on the micro, small, and medium enterprises, and also aimed at addressing the foundational digital needs as well as other skills that businesses such as yourself in the SME space and MSME space need in order to grow and develop. And these would include things like access to information, infrastructure, funding, and also what's taking place in the new markets that we are now beginning to go into. The program, brings together a combination of MTN and its partners looking at solutions, as well as, robust education and also learning through master classes that will now be led and delivered by some key MTN executives. And also, as I stated earlier, some really, really top external industry experts. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And what I'm going to do now is introduce the different guests that will be speaking to you guys with their wonderful remarks. And I'll just take them one by one. So ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, delivering our keynote address shall be the Honorable Minister of Communications and the Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, FNCS, FBCS, FIM, and NCPN. He is the first minister to lead the combined Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. He also happens to be a triple graduate of the prestigious Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University and the Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen, Scotland. Under his leadership, a national digital economy policy and strategy was developed, which led to remarkable changes in the country, where we have seen a national broadband plan, which is deepening broadband penetration in Nigeria and bringing digital to more and more people every single day. He is an evergreen and hardworking individual who just recently commissioned the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA's Digital Center. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to have with us the Honorable Minister of Communication and the Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami. He's here with us as well. Thank you very much. And also with us, allow me to introduce his counterparts that should be giving the special remarks. We have the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Richard Adeniyi Adebayo, CON. He is the 32nd Minister of Trade and Investment, overseeing the government's goal of economic diversification to non-oil revenue earnings. His Excellency is leading the promotion of government's policies of the ease of doing business, job creation, poverty eradication, and industrialization. He is a member of the Nigerian and International Bar Association, the Nigerian Institute of Management, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute for Public Administration, a director of the Nigerian Sickle Cell Foundation, and a member of the Royal Commonwealth Society of Nigeria. Joining us will be Otumba Richard Adeniyi Adebayo, CON. Also joining us to give special remarks is the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commissions, Professor Umar Garba Dambata, a lecturer in the Department of a former lecturer in the Department of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Technology of Bayero University, Kano for 28 years, where he taught courses in telecommunications, engineering, and electronics. He has supervised over 60 high academic projects in diverse areas of telecommunications, and he was the former vice president of the Digital Bridge Institute International Center for Advanced Communication Studies, a training school for the Nigerian telecommunications industry. Here with us to give the special remarks, Professor Umar Garba Dambata, the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission. And also joining us as well to give the welcome remarks will be the Chairman of MTN Nigeria Communications PLC, Dr. Ernest Undukwe. He is also a former Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Communications Commission, and he also served as co-chairman of the Presidential Committee to develop strategy and roadmap for universal broadband access for Nigeria. Well, right now, to go ahead and kick things off, we're going to have the opening remarks, ladies and gentlemen, and that will be done by the CEO of MTN Nigeria, and that will be Ferdinand Moorman. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to hand over to Ferdinand, who's also affectionately called Ferdy, to now go ahead and give us the opening remarks.
Good morning, everybody. Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communication Commission, the Chairman of MTN Nigeria Board of Directors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the launch of the REV program. Some time ago, MTN identified an initiative we called We Are Good Together. We realized that success is built on working together, working and aligning our objectives with government, working together with stakeholders, working together with our customers, working together with other industries, working together with the general public. At the end of the day, we are just stronger together. We are proud of a number of initiatives under the We Are Good Together banner, such as the direct support we've provided to the NCDC by the MTN Foundation. As MTN Nigeria, we gave 3 months of free SMS. This was utilized by about 53 million Nigerians, and over 53.5 billion SMSs were sent for free over the lockdown period. We participated in CACOVIT, which is an initiative led by business leaders in Nigeria. We provided free access to educational websites, and we also provided free data and voice to various federal government departments, including the NCDC. Today, we launched the next aspect of the Good Together campaign, called the REV initiative. This initiative aims to empower and support small and medium enterprise segment. Now, according to the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, SMEs, or commonly known as small medium enterprise in Nigeria, contributes about 48% to the national GDP and employs an estimate 84% of the total workforce in Nigeria. The SME group presents a formidable and key segment upon which the livelihood of millions of Nigerians and the economy as a whole depends. The effect of the global pandemic, the accompanied lockdown and prevailing restrictions on this group has resulted in an economic challenge, which has further affected businesses, consumer spending, jobs, and livelihoods. But I believe this challenge has also created an opportunity for SMEs to accelerate by using digital tools. This is what has given birth to the REV program. So what are we going to do during this REV program? The program is aimed at helping approximately 10,000 SMEs relearn, rethink, retool their businesses for growth in the emerging digital economy. The program consists of a series of business-related masterclasses, advisory services, and marketing and technical support. The initiative is very dear to our hearts at MTN, and the entire leadership team of MTN Nigeria will be leading the delivery of the business-related masterclasses, working with renowned industry experts. At the end of the initiative, we are excited to announce that MTN will be naming what we call the Yellow 200. The Yellow 200 will be SMEs selected based on identified criteria, and the Yellow 200 will enjoy exclusive access to a broad range of technology and productivity tools and services absolutely free for a period of 6 months. We have always believed that everyone deserves the benefit of a modern connected life, and this includes SMEs. We recognize the ability for these SMEs to transition to a more digital way of doing business holds the key to thriving in this and future and beyond. We are excited about what we have in store for the SMEs over the next few months. We look forward to a very successful program, and we are truly excited. And in my closing remarks, I just want to thank the team that worked so hard to put all of this together. I know all of you are nervous, and I'm sure this will be a very, very big success. And finally, to everybody out there, our MTN prayers go with all of you and your family, and we hope that you stay safe. Thank you all, and God bless.
All right, Fergie, thank you so much for your very, very wonderful words, and also making sure that we got started with the welcome remarks. So at this point, just very quickly before we now transition to the opening remarks, is just to point out very quickly that the REV program is going to have 200 people that are going to be identified over the course of the program, and it will be 12 sessions a month. So it's going to be very, very exciting. And I know that this is something that different individuals will now speak about as we move along. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, to now continue with this program, I said some wonderful conversation. We're now going to have the opening remarks, and it's going to be from Dr. Ernest Ndukwe, the chairman of MTN Nigeria. So Dr. Ernest Ndukwe, I'd like to hand over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Ali Pantami, Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Richard Adeni Adebayo, CON, the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Professor Mar Garbadambata, my colleagues on the MTN board, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed truly delighted to add my word of welcome to everyone that has gathered for this webinar. This all-important gathering spotlights the resilience, drive, and dedication of our micro, small, and medium enterprises and their critical role in driving our economy. What a difference a year makes. Who would have thought that 2020 will come to this, that we'll be discussing the sheer scale of disruption that the pandemic has wrought, the accompanying lockdown and the restrictions and the resultant halt in economic growth that has affected businesses, consumer spending, jobs and livelihoods. Yet, in and through all this, here we are, rising the best way mankind has learned to do together. Indeed, our small businesses have been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the stats on the vital role or in the economy, they constitute 96% of the total number of enterprises, 48% of the national GDP, and 84% of the nation's workforce. It is with great alarm that we must view the steady decline of this sector as the pandemic continues to take its toll. The MTN REV program being launched today takes cognizance of the dire consequences that will result if this situation is not treated with the urgency it deserves. The REV program aims to address the uppermost needs and skills that our micro, small and medium scale businesses need to survive, grow, and thrive. From access to information infrastructure, funding, and new markets, we'll be bringing integrated solutions guided by valuable business insights and well-honed industry experts. I am delighted and honored to be part of a team that continues to demonstrate an unwavering commitment to supporting and enabling this critical component of the Nigerian economy and thereby enabling socio-economic development. We gather here as advocates, investors, collaborators in the growth and development of this nation, and call upon others to join us on this mission. It is more important than ever that we all step forward to lend our voices and actions to keep the MSME sector alive. This could not have come at a more critical time. Kudos to our partners in progress, government, our regulator, our minister, our ministers, and all stakeholders across public and private sectors for congregating today and continuing to demonstrate their commitment towards advancing this critical sphere of our business and national life. I welcome especially the two ministers that have joined us today, and of course, the Executive Vice Chairman of the NCC, our regulator. Thank you very much, and welcome once again to the MTN REV program. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Dr. Ernest Ndukwe, for that enlightening opening remark. While we wait for Nwaji to come back online, perhaps you can have the next speaker give his opening remarks.
Right. So thank you very much. Do I have then your permission to go ahead and present my special remarks?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Well, first and foremost, I would like to observe the protocol that has been well established, initially by Nwaji and by subsequent speakers. And I would like to also welcome all participants to this very, very important program, the REV, the MTN REV program. The REV for me, I did not get the meaning of that acronym, but I had a hunch. REV maybe may stand for revival, the MTN revival program. I think Fadi would correct me if I did not get the meaning of REV, in full. The World Bank, the International Finance Corporation, IFC, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and all major world financial institutions agree that the global economy is greatly influenced by small and medium enterprises, SMEs. This is more so particularly for developing countries like Nigeria, where SMEs represent over 90% of businesses, contributing about 50% of all employment. In Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, SMEs have the potential of constituting up to 40% of our gross domestic product, GDP, from the present 1% contribution, according to the Financial System Strategy, FSS 2020 report of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. At the core of all SMEs, ladies and gentlemen, is innovation, efficiency, and people with a strong belief to provide products and services smartly and prudently. These people are variously referred to as entrepreneurs. And even as disruptors, we see them also as people who disrupt businesses, changing the way things are being done, but nonetheless, adding invaluable contribution to governance, as well as to corporations and to social and economic transformation of our society and humanity. Challenges stroke way forward. Despite their recognized contributions to the social economy of the world, and Nigeria in particular, SMEs face major challenges in terms of access to financing, poor infrastructure, poor managerial skills, unfair competition, bureaucracy, multiple taxation, and low demand. Also, it is a well-known fact that this administration of His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, has put a lot of emphasis on supporting local content development in various sectors of our economy. From agriculture with the ban of importation of rice and promotion of local rice farmers, to the engineering, planning, and construction of the first segment of the Ajao Kuta Kaduna Kano gas pipeline by a local company. The AKK's overall objective is local utilization of gas by industries and power generating companies, which also reinforces local content initiatives of the federal government. And finally, to the actualization of the second Niger Bridge designed by local engineers. It is worth to mention equally that the ICT sector has also not been left out. This is evidenced by the policy objective of both the Nigerian National Broadband Plan, NNBP 2020 to 2025, and the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy, NDEPS, whose mission is to build a nation where digital innovation and entrepreneurship are used to create value and prosperity for all. Also, the eighth pillar of the NDEPS is specifically directed at indigenous contents, development, and adoption, while the overall objective of the National Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025 is to improve broadband speed and penetration, a key enabler of peace and digital economy, which presently is an area of challenge, but nonetheless being systematically and purposely addressed by the Federal Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, led by the Honorable Minister, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantemi. The NCC and our partners, such as MTN and other MNOs, as well as service providers, are indeed partners in progress in this very, very important project of driving the broadband penetration to reach 70% by the year 2025. In pursuance of the National Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025 and the NDEPS, that is the Digital Economic Policy and Strategy, the Commission has established already, I'm talking here about the NCC, has established a Department of Digital Economy tasked with the specific objectives of implementing the policies contained in those documents. And I'm happy to report that the head of that department is also participating in this very, very important program. It is my pleasure to inform you that the 3 units presently under that department, that is the Department of the Digital Economy, is constituted as follows: the Broadband Implementation Unit, Digital Innovation and Entrepreneurship Unit, as well as the Digital Skills and Services Unit. Together, ladies and gentlemen, these units will, in conjunction with other existing departments of the Commission, units and policy directives, address issues of 4: infrastructure, financial incentives, digital skills, as well as unfair competition, which are the bane of SMEs in our country. We shall focus on areas such as incentivizing the manufacturing of corrugated optical ducts for broadband fiber deployment, low-cost smartphones, manufacturing and assembly, coding and animation skills development, working with innovation-driven entrepreneurs, etc., as well as helping SMEs and other companies achieve pioneer status, incentives as enshrined in the National Economic Policy and Growth Plan of the federal government, which grants a 30% income tax reduction to such companies. In my closing remarks, the Commission congratulates and thanks MTN for organizing this event. The REV program is one of its corporate social responsibility initiatives towards not only remembering its partners during the challenging COVID-19 pandemic period, but for also planning for the post-COVID-19 success of SMEs and entrepreneurs. Also, the Commission commends the robust contribution of all stakeholders and the evident support and commitment of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari in the area of digital economy, local content, as well as SMEs promotion. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you all very kindly, sir, for your wonderful, wonderful remarks. They really, really do hit home. I'd just like to quickly apologize, everybody. These are the unfortunate things that happen when you are primarily dependent on technology for these kind of conversations. So thank you once again, sir, and thank you for the transition and for the team. Just to quickly just reiterate some quick points, especially for all our wonderful attendees listening out there. So REV actually stands for Rev the Engine of Your Business and Veer onto the Path of Growth through Digital Inclusion. I'll say that again. REV, that's the REV program, stands for Rev the Engine of Your Business and Veer onto the Path of Growth through Digital Inclusion. And one of the things that is very, very important to state that we really, really want to emphasize is that the selection of 200 SMEs who will be selected from the over 10,000 SMEs that are in attendance will now happen over 12 sessions. And they will be supported to commence and entrench their journey into digital economy, and they'll have free support for 6 months. So this is going to happen over 12 sessions, these master classes. So the selection is going to come down to 200 SMEs from everybody that's currently in attendance right now. And that will happen over the 12 sessions and through the various master classes that will take place. So these things will be discussed over and over again as we begin to progress, but we just want to make sure that we emphasize that particular point. So thank you very much to the Executive Vice Chairman for that wonderful remarks. Thank you once again, sir. We really, really appreciate it. So now we are going to move on to some further special remarks, and this time is going to be from the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments. And ladies and gentlemen, so I'd like to now ask the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments to please give his special remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, the Executive Vice Chairman of the NCC, the Chairman of MTN, the CEO of MTN, top government officials, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor for me to be given the opportunity to make these remarks at the formal launch of the MTN's REV Program 2020. First of all, let me thank MTN Nigeria for playing a key role in the federal government's drive towards achieving a digital economy. As you know, the telecommunications sector has contributed enormously to the Nigerian economy in the last decade. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the sector contributed 10.88% to Nigeria's GDP in Q1 2020. In the last 10 years, the subscriber base has steadily grown at an average of 7.65% annually, from approximately 88.3 million in 2010 to 184.7 million in 2019, with tele-density of 97.76%. Meanwhile, access to mobile broadband continues to rise, as 52% of mobile users in Nigeria had access to the second generation network, 2G, in 2018, and 44% had access to the third generation 3G network in the same year. This, however, is projected to increase to 70% by 2025. The correlation between advances in mobile technology and its impact on the economy as a whole has consistently been a direct and positive relationship. This is evident in our daily business lives as it enhances the overall activities of the economy as well as promotes inclusive growth. This has seen telecommunication operators venture into other areas of business, such as financial services, mobile money, and entertainment, such as music and video marketing. As stated by previous speakers, the effect of the global pandemic, the accompanying lockdown, and the resultant halt in economic growth has affected businesses, consumer spending, jobs, and livelihoods. No one has felt the impact harder than micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, which constitute about 96% of the total number of enterprises, 48% of national GDP, and 84% of nation's workforce. The federal government of Nigeria has responded swiftly to alleviate the effect of the pandemic on MSMEs by providing about 625 billion naira in intervention funds to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on businesses. Government has also created numerous palliatives, including the one-year extension of moratorium on principal repayments for CBN intervention facilities, a 3-month interest holiday for those holding trader money, market money, and farmer money loans, providing 1 trillion naira loan to boost local manufacturing and production across critical sectors, amongst many others. In addition to managing a significant portion of the intervention funds, my ministry has, on its part, launched several schemes to cushion the shock of the COVID-19 pandemic by protecting and sustaining the income of vulnerable MSMEs. Among these, I'm particularly proud of the Emergency Operations Center, which we set up to ensure the smooth and continuous operation of production activities during the lockdown period. There is a nexus between my ministry's efforts in developing the MSME space and MTN's REV program. The MTN REV program aims to focus mainly on MSMEs and address the foundational digital needs as well as other skills such businesses need to grow and develop. These include access to information, infrastructure, funding, and new markets. The REV program seeks to empower over 10,000 MSMEs with digital literacy and execution abilities necessary to accelerate the growth of their businesses. Also, at the end of the program, MTN will, for a period of 6 months, support 200 SMEs identified during the course of the program with technology and digital solutions that will not only ensure they are digitally included, but will catalyze access to markets, improve productivity, and drive efficiencies for their businesses. I recognize that for MSMEs to thrive, they require various digital empowerment tools and services to fast-track digital inclusion, which range from optimal voice solutions like closed user groups for businesses, digital customer engagement tools, digital marketing and advertising, virtual work and collaboration services, as well as digital payment access and infrastructure. This will help to ensure that the critical areas of the digital economy policy, which include digital literacy and skills, provision of solid and service infrastructure, as well as deployment of digital societies and emerging technologies, is enabled. This aligns with the federal government's drive for a digital Nigeria, as we are actively promoting the digital economy, considering its capacity for growth, job creation, and in mitigating the impact of the pandemic on all sectors. In November 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, launched the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy with the aim of enabling Nigeria to become a leading player in the global digital economy and to provide a catalyst to facilitate the diversification of the economy and the attainment of key national objectives, which includes improving security, reducing corruption, and expanding the economy. In March of this year, President Muhammadu Buhari also launched the National Broadband Plan, which has been well-timed as the crisis has shown how accelerating the digitalization of government business can enhance the effectiveness of response to emergencies. A few weeks ago, the administration took steps to inaugurate the steering and implementation committees. We shall also continue to advocate for a unified right-of-way charge of 145 naira per meter to state governments. Currently, states such as Ekiti, Imo, Katsina, Plateau have complied, with Kaduna eliminating the charge altogether. It is our hope that others will follow suit. In closing, our appeal is for MTN Nigeria to continue to leverage technology and partnerships and remain focused on deepening digital penetration in the economy. We look forward to and welcome further collaboration on promoting the deepening of the digital economy and to explore commercial and other opportunities. Once again, on behalf of this administration, ably led by our President, Muhammadu Buhari, and on behalf of the entire Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, I would like to extend my appreciation for this laudable initiative. I look forward to seeing how the event unfolds and to congratulate the businesses that will be shortlisted at the end of the program. I thank you and wish you a great session. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for your special remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments, Otumba Richard Adeniyi Adebayo, CON. And thank you very much, kind sir, for reiterating the narrative around the collaboration of promoting the deepening of the digital economy, and also importantly, the role that MTN can absolutely play in this space. We deeply, deeply appreciate your contributions towards that particular conversation, as it really serves as a direction in which we can all follow and the roles that we can all play. Thank you once again, sir. All right, so moving on to the keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, like I introduced earlier, I will introduce again. We have the Minister of Communication and the Digital Economy, and he will be delivering the keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Honorable Minister of Communication and the Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, FNCS, FBCS, FIIM, MCPN. Honorable Minister, over to you.
The Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, my elder brother, His Excellency Adeniyi Adebayo, the Chairman of MTN, Mr. and Engineer Ernest Nduke, the Executive Vice Chairman of NCC, Professor Umar Garba Dambata, the CEO of MTN, other stakeholders here present, all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. Good morning, and may peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you. I am highly delighted to be part and parcel of this event organized by MTN. And I want to use the opportunity to thank them for capacity building organized for our micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria, because that is key to our economic development and also key to our economic distribution. The effort of MTN by organizing this corporate social responsibility is most appreciative. On behalf of my boss, the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, I want to use the opportunity to thank you for that and to encourage you to continue to organize similar capacity building all over the country for our citizens. As we all know today, micro, small, and medium enterprises occupy not only a peripheral position in our economy, but rather a central one indeed. So this, your effort is most appreciative, as we all know that CSR is not a hard law. It is indeed a soft law, but it is encouraging each and every country towards its development. And thirdly, the importance of small and medium enterprises in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized, because according to the report of National Bureau of Statistics, in 2018, small and medium enterprises contributed a minimum of 48% to our economy. 48% of our economy. By implication, since 2018, they contributed almost half to our gross domestic product in the country. And furthermore, in Nigeria, based on that report, we have a minimum of 41.8 million SMEs in the country. So by implication, we don't have any category that is more than that statistically. We have around 41.8% of our small and medium enterprises all over the country. So any effort to support and promote this economy is highly, highly commendable, and at the same time, most appreciated by the federal government of Nigeria. And at the same time, the same report shows that 96% of our enterprises in Nigeria, 96% of our enterprise in Nigeria has been accommodated by micro, small, and medium enterprises. And furthermore, if we look at the report of World Bank, this will vindicate to us that the position of micro, small, and medium enterprises is not only to Nigeria, but globally. In a report which has been issued by World Bank, January 2020, just this year, that report shows that 90% of global businesses are within the category of micro, small, and medium enterprises. While in Nigeria, it's 96% of our businesses fall within the category of micro, small, and medium enterprises. In Nigeria, it's 96%. While the global statistics, according to World Bank report of January 2020, a minimum of 90% of our businesses are within that category. And secondly, not only in Nigeria, but globally, SMS provides a minimum of 50% to our employment. So meaning all employments globally, 50% are within micro, small, and medium enterprises. This is a clear statistics to show to us how important micro, small, and medium enterprises are to our economy in Nigeria and at the same time globally. My elder brother, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, spoke about our digital economy journey briefly, so I don't need to go back to that, but only to re-emphasize that our boss President Muhammadu Buhari has honored our proposal in September by bringing digital economy to be in the forefront. We were assigned portfolios as ministers along with our colleagues like the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. I had the privilege of sitting down with my PAMSEC directors, chief executives under the purview of the ministry. We discussed about the achievements made so far then, the challenges of the sector, including the issue of right of way and many more vandalization of infrastructure. And we discovered that the approach then of the ministry was more on ICT, which is technically obsolete today. What was missing in the forefront was bringing out digital economy, most importantly in the area of developmental regulation. So we came up with a proposal and Mr. President approved the proposal to come over to redesignate the ministry to focus more on digital economy. However, our main responsibility is the coordination. Many ministries have a role to play when it comes to digital economy. Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy will come up with the policy, which we have already done. Then the regulatory agencies, NITDA, NCC, have a challenge as well to come up with subsidiary legislation that will support the developmental regulation of the sector. Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Justice, and many more have a critical role to play in the implementation of that policy. And that is why when it comes to small and medium enterprises, that falls under the supervision of the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. And what the policy speaks so much on is how to transform our small and medium enterprises in the country, particularly by learning from the effort of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. By the time the whole world was discussing about small and medium enterprises more than a decade ago, MIT was looking on what they call IDE, Innovation-Driven Enterprise. Innovation-Driven Enterprises, that is IDE. The whole world was talking about SMEs, and they were talking about IDEs, Innovation-Driven Enterprises. Why? Because they know the success of enterprises relies so much on innovation. So they were proactive. We were busy discussing small and medium enterprises, while at their own angle, they were very proactive discussing about how innovation can drive our enterprises. Because of that, they produced millions of serial entrepreneurs globally, to the extent that so far the graduates of MIT, more than 49% of them are serial entrepreneurs globally. Furthermore, recent statistics show that the graduates of MIT, the collective GDP they accumulate annually is more than the entire gross domestic product of a country like India, because only the graduates of MIT, their collective GDP is more than 2 trillion USD. By the time a country like Nigeria, with a population of 200 million people, we are trying to improve our GDP to go above 450 million USD. At that time, MIT, their GDP was more than 2 trillion USD. That is more than 4 times the GDP of a country like Nigeria, and more than the GDP of India, and at the same time, almost the same with the GDP of Russia as a country. Why? Because they accommodated innovation into their entrepreneurship. And this is what makes their enterprises very successful. So it is because of this, one of the things we will do to ensure that our enterprises are very successful in Nigeria is to adopt and at the same time provide digital skills for them and encourage them to be more innovative in what they do. And I think that is why this program is highly commendable. The entire success of our digital economy relies so much on 2 things. Firstly, innovation, and secondly, entrepreneurship. These 2 things are key to the success of our digital economy. So far, we have the policy in place, National Digital Policy for a Digital Nigeria, which has been mentioned by my elder brother, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. And it is our collective responsibility for all stakeholders in the public sector and in the private sector to implement. Developing the policy is our responsibility, but implementing the policy is not a mandate of one ministry, but all stakeholders must look into it to see what they can do. I am glad that MTN has been supporting this policy of the federal government by organizing this program, which will go a long way in transforming our entrepreneurs in the country, most importantly, micro, small, and medium enterprises. The issue of the right of way, in which also the minister spoke on, we are able to accommodate. Beyond the states you mentioned, many other states have followed. Recently, Kwara State reduced right of way even from 6,000 naira to only 1 naira per linear meter. And at the same time, Nasarawa State also reviewed it last week. However, based on the consensus of a meeting we had with the governors on 22nd January 2020, officially it has been adopted that the maximum right of way is 145 naira. That is the maximum to be collected by each and every state. So any amount above 145 should be ignored. This is contrary to our consensus with the governors through their chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum, Dr. Kayode Fayemi. So this is the consensus. And so that announcement that is being done state by state is not even necessary, because that is a general consensus. So it is because of this, our operators and all investors should take this into consideration, that even without announcement by any state, it is officially agreed in our joint meeting with the governors that 145 is the maximum. And another good glad tidings to be given, we also had a meeting, inter-ministerial committee meeting with our colleagues, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, just last Friday. During the meeting, we also agreed that we are going to submit a memo to the president in which even the federal government, when it comes to highways, not only small and not only states, even the federal government, we are planning to make a proposal that if approved, by implication, we are going to waive right of way completely in our highways in the federal government, completely, to a minimum of maybe by December 2022. So for more than 2.5 years or 2.5 years approximately now, right of way is going to be waived completely by the federal government. Even 145 naira will not be collected. So it is a window now. So if you want to utilize the window, you can immediately start preparing. So this is a joint memo that we work on, and it is going to be presented. So most probably in our highways of the federal government of Nigeria, there is no right of way will not be collected in any way up to December 2022. And this is part of our palliatives for the COVID-19 pandemic at the federal level. As my colleague, senior colleague has also said, there are many initiatives of the federal government under economic sustainability plan and also our economy functioning with COVID-19. Part of that, there are many initiatives of the federal government of Nigeria to ensure that we provide an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. And I do hope that this is one of the initiatives in order to support our businesses. So we have already adopted that resolution between the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Ministry of Works and Housing, NIWA, NNPC, and many more. So all of them, all the regulatory bodies were there, and that was the consensus that right of way will not be collected by federal government up to December 2022. So because of this, I encourage you to use the window as we strive to come up with policies that will make investment more successful for all of you. So on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria, and at the same time, on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy in charge of the ICT sector, we once again thank MTN for providing this training to our citizens, and I do hope it will continue and it is going to be conducted from one place to another all over the country. So thank you for the invitation. God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Well, 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 thank you very much for that wonderful keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Minister of Communications and the Digital Economy delivering a very, very gracious address, and also where he referenced a lot of statistics around the demarcation of our businesses that are MSMEs and how they play, and also the involvement of governments within initiatives towards creating an enabling environment in the technical space for entrepreneurs, and also looking around how innovation can be a big contributing part towards how entrepreneurs can transform the way that they do business. And then also lastly as well, thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for speaking about waiving the right of way and how that plan is unveiling. Very, very important conversations to have and also important information to share. And we thank you very much for your keynote address, as it really, really specifically touched on some very, very pertinent and important points that the attendees and also everyone on this conference will definitely take advantage of. Thank you so much once again, Honorable Minister.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
It's
all right,
to
reiterate the point once again about the REV program, and just to state that 200 people are going to be identified over the course of the program. And that's going to be 12 sessions a month. And the REV program will seek to empower over 10,000 MSMEs during that time with digital literacy and execution abilities that are necessary to accelerate the growth of their business. At the end of the program, MTN will, for a period of 6 months, support 200 SMEs, like I stated earlier, that will be identified during the course of the program with technology and digital solutions. That would only ensure that they are digitally included. And this is more or less capping all the different remarks and addresses that we have heard, is about how do we ensure that our entrepreneurs are digitally included. And MTN recognizes that this is the time to act and prioritize the development of Nigeria's digital economy and its accompanying multiplier effect across all sectors of the economy. The REV program therefore seeks to bring to the fore and identify ways to address major macro level issues faced by MSMEs, leveraging the expertise of relevant stakeholders such as the MCDE, NCC, CBN, and our ecosystem of partners. So with those wonderful conversations that we have just had, and just listening to those amazing remarks and the keynote addresses from these very, very key individuals in Nigeria, we are now going to transition towards the panel discussions where we're going to have more conversations within the private sector. And at this point, I would like to hand over to our moderator for the panel discussion. I'll be introducing Dr. Henrietta Onwuebuzie, who is an academic director, OMP. So Dr. Henrietta is a globally certified management consultant and leads sessions in entrepreneurship on the MBA and executive programs of the Lagos Business School, LBS. She is currently the academic director for the Owner Management Program and project director for the Impact Investing Policy Initiative of the school. She is one of the first 2 Africans selected to be visiting faculty of Yale School of Management in the United States in 2019. She worked actively with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, from 2012 to 2014. And in 2015, she was conferred a certificate of recognition in New York by LEAP, a UN working group under the Principles of Responsible Management Education, PRME sector, in recognition of her groundbreaking work in developing change accelerators. And she has also been rated top 4% among Nigerian top executives in the education management industry. It is my absolute pleasure to hand over to my colleague, Dr. Henrietta, who will now be moderating the panel discussions. Henrietta, over to you.
Thank you very much, Waji. Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to the MTN REV program. And specifically to this panel session, which is themed, What are your burning issues? We would like to know what those challenges SMEs find most difficult to surmount, and also suggest ways that you can overcome these challenges. To do this effectively, I'd like to ask you to put your questions in the Q&A section of this platform, while the panelists we have today will share with all of us their thoughts on critical aspects that they believe will be helpful to help SMEs survive and thrive. So I'm going to quickly introduce the panelists we have today. We have with us 4 panelists who have spent many years in business, either in an advisory capacity or actually running businesses. And I'll just read their profiles briefly before going into asking them questions, and then we'll move straight to trying to answer as many of your questions as possible. The questions we don't answer today will be answered in the subsequent masterclasses, which will happen from tomorrow, after today's launch event. I noticed that a lot of people were already asking questions about what this whole program is all about. Well, just as Waji has been explaining, it's supposed to be to provide training to help strengthen SMEs and help them survive and thrive. And the 200 who will be selected will be given special attention in terms of, be given special assistance to help them strengthen their marketing skills and also provide them with knowledge to help them as they go through their businesses. So without saying much more, let me start by introducing the first panelist, Mrs. Bumi Lawson. She is the Pioneer Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Edfin Microfinance Bank Limited. Edfin prides itself as the first specialized education microfinance bank with unique and well-researched products and services tailored to cater for the needs of its customers and the education ecosystem. Edfin Microfinance Bank, under the leadership of Bumi Lawson, officially commenced operations in April 2019 with its registered office in Surulere, Lagos State, and has projections to grow into a national microfinance bank, as well as a globally recognized bank of choice for education, financial solutions in Africa. Its shareholders are Gray Matters Capital, an investment company based in the US. So that's Ms. Bumi Lawson. Our next panelist is Mr. Olubenga. Right. Our next panelist is Mr. Olubenga Agwola. He's a serial entrepreneur with 15 years experience building scalable financial technology, fintech companies. He is the founder and CEO of Flutterwave, a post-Series B payments technology company headquartered in San Francisco with operations and offices across Africa and Europe. Olubenga is passionate about creating payment solutions that connect Africa to the global digital economy. He champions this through his work, which has enabled Flutterwave process over $5.4 billion across all product platforms. Olubenga, you're welcome to the program.
Thanks, Henrietta.
Okay. Our next panelist is Mrs. Ifedayo Durosimieti. She is an author, entrepreneur, and young global leader with over 10 years management and leadership experience working in the fashion, marketing, and manufacturing industries. She holds a first degree in biochemistry and an MBA in global business. Prior to moving back to Nigeria in 2012, she worked with the Arcadia Group PLC, a British multinational retailing company headquartered in London, and Aspire Acquisitions. She later joined Nigerian breweries as a young African talent and transitioned to their corporate communications department as corporate social responsibility and sustainability support manager, where she successfully managed various corporate social responsibility and sustainability projects. Ifedayo is an associate member of the Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria. He is the managing partner for AGS Tribe, a social enterprise created to democratize opportunities for entrepreneurs and non-profit organizations in Africa. It is also a platform that brings female entrepreneurs together, building cross-border relationships with the aim of transforming Africa. She is passionate about women and youth contributing to national development. Ifedayo, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Now, our last but not the least participant is Dr. Are Abdul Hafiz. He is the CEO of Primed eHealth, an e-health company that has computerized over 27 hospitals in the FCT with data from over 1 million patients. Primed eHealth is the first in West Africa to achieve such a feat. He was the Defense Intelligence Agency eHealth consultant in 2013 and implemented the first Defense Health Information Management System in the Ministry of Defense, Abuja. He was with the Department of State Security Services in 2014 and completed the computerization of the Defense Headquarters Medical Center in 2017. Dr. Are Abdul Hafiz, you're welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. So without much ado, I'd like to direct my first question to Mrs. Bumi Lawson. Now, looking at the way the pandemic has suddenly changed the way we live and interact, what advice do you have for SMEs to help them survive and thrive, not just through this crisis, but through the life of their business?
Yeah, thank you very much. And good afternoon to everyone. All protocols observed. It's indeed an honor to be here. You know, I'm very passionate about SMEs, and I truly believe that they are the economic bedrock of the country, and they should be encouraged to grow and thrive. And while some, we do understand that the Nigerian environment is tough, for SMEs, but SMEs all over to face typically a tougher climb than, sometimes big businesses. So what should SMEs do on their own part, instead of focusing only on what government can do to help us? Number one, I would say, is to be determined. It takes a lot of determination and passion about your business to ensure that it succeeds. So ensure that you are determined and passionate, and that translates to being the best at your business. In Nigeria, just being really good is a competitive advantage. So understand your business thoroughly, know what is going on in the marketplace, understand your customers, what value are you adding to them that they are going to pay for. So, and once you are placed that way, your marketing, your communication, and ensuring that your customers actually know that. The other thing is, a lot of people talk about finance and, how do I access finance to fund my business? As business starts up, you first of all have to invest in your own self. You raise your money from yourself, your family, friends, wherever you can get it. Cut your expenses, make sure that they are really bare bone, that you're bootstrapping, as they say. But, then start looking at mentors, angel investors to be able to raise funding. When SMEs are starting, I typically advise that you start off with equity or patient long-term capital. Don't start going for bank loans that are expensive. You have to put down collateral and so on and so forth. Look for patient capital. Look for people who bring more than just money. They bring you access to markets. You can use their networks for introductions. They give you marketing, and advertising advice and so on and so forth. So it's not only just that they're putting money in. But I do encourage SMEs to actually try to raise funding like that, because I think it brings in a discipline, especially in governance. It forces them to set up a board. It forces them to do things properly, to be organized, your organizational structure and things like that. And you're accountable to someone. So those, just to start off, will be my initial contribution to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bumi. You have raised some very, very important points that SMEs should take note of. I would say notably funding. That is one point that most SMEs seem to think that holds them back. And you've given the right advice, telling them to start small while thinking big. You don't need to rent a store to start a business. You don't need to employ staff. You don't need to have furniture. You don't need to have a secretary or, whatever. Start with what you have. And the minute you begin to have customers who are willing to pay for your goods or services, it's easier to attract funding.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that they need to be determined and passionate, and also be clear about the value they are adding. Okay, you make money in business by adding value. You don't make money in business just for the sake. Your business cannot survive just from trying to make money. So, what service are you offering your customers? Be very clear about it. Be very clear about your purpose, your mission. Thank you so much, Bumi. Those were very, very strong principles that I'm hoping our listeners have taken on board. My next question goes to GB. Statistics have shown that one of the major reasons why businesses fail is because they lack a sense of purpose or mission. Can you share with us how this has influenced your business? What motivated your business, and whether this has played a part in the growth of your business? You're going to need to unmute yourself, GB.
Yes, thank you so much. So our Flutterwave, we believe in that very, very closely, and that's one of our core driver at Flutterwave. Part of trying to key into that core value and mission has been what we did in earlier this year when the pandemic started in full force. We pretty much built a platform for SMEs to sell online without having to have their own store. We saw that a lot of the communities all around us in Lagos, everywhere in Nigeria, they have pretty much not been able to sell because of the pandemic. Excuse me. And that was a focus that we used to basically build something to help them scale all across Nigeria. So we built a store. Our store is an online e-commerce shop that any SME in Nigeria can just use to scale their business online without having to get a website or a payment system. It's all in one and it is free for SMEs. And our goal for that, building that store, is to make an impact to our community. We understand the impact of not just building a company or building a product just for making money, but rather to create value and create impact in our community. And in the past 2-3 months, we've had over 6,000 SMEs sign up on that platform, and they are all selling online, from selling food, groceries, bags, shoes. Everything is now available online through Flora Store. And we're not building an e-commerce site. We just gave it to everyone. They can have their own e-commerce site with their own payment system, even with delivery integrated. And the goal of that really is to give SMEs a voice, right? Make it easy for them to scale their business. They can be at home and sell, and they can reach where they couldn't reach before, because now they can sell to anyone globally or locally in Nigeria. And the goal of that really is we trying to make sure that we give SMEs a platform to be able to scale and actually impact their own community as well across board. So for us at FloridaWave, part of our core value is building trust capital. And that, I think, is reflective of making an impact. That trust is required in what we do at FloridaWave.
And just a quick one, still with you, GB. So with this strong desire to make an impact, are you able to be profitable? And if you are, can you explain your business model?
So yes, the FloridaWave store, right? We charge a fee on the transaction the SME is collecting, which is typical to what you get today on POS, and which is a regulated area of business in Nigeria. So in line with the CBN policy, we charge a fee on that. But our goal beyond that is not just profit at this point. Our goal is, if we help our SMEs to stay in business, we also get to stay in business automatically, right? If we help them to keep the lights on, like we call it, we also get to keep our lights on. And the goal here for us is helping that small shop in Okeari, in Lekki, in Bagada, to be able to scale their business without having to open a new branch. Because today everybody is online. I mean, thanks to MTN, everybody's online. Everybody has 3G on their phones at the minimum. Everybody can shop. And that basically makes it easy for us to give people, this SMEs, a platform where they can be able to sell to everybody who is online, who can reach them via the internet. And that's our goal. Right.
So you're saying this is win-win for everybody. So win for the entrepreneur, win for the customers who have it easily available to them, and win for you also as a company because you're profitable, right?
Yeah, correct. It's a win for everybody. Yes.
All right, fantastic. Right. So very quickly, Ifedayo, you provide funding to SMEs in your business. Now, in your experience, is funding the most important factor for business success?
Thank you very much, Dr. Harriet. I'm super excited that you started with that question, because I was going to take some parts of what Mrs. Bumi Lawson had spoken about, where she said, funding was a huge thing for SMEs. But what, in my own experience, I don't think it's funding, because I've dealt with over 50,000 entrepreneurs in the last couple of years. And through training, mentorships, and all of that, you find that their main thing is not funding. Funding is available if you have a good product, if you have something that's valuable to sell. What happens is entrepreneurs don't have that entrepreneurial mindset. And I feel like if you have that mindset, to know that anywhere you find yourself, you will hustle, you do whatever you have to do to ensure that you get things done, then things would start moving up for you. You'll be able to scale. For example, I currently have a program running, the AGS Enterprise Challenge, which is a challenge that is supposed to fund and train entrepreneurs across Nigeria. And every year, this is the 3rd year running, and every year we give out funding to 3 entrepreneurs and we train a couple of other entrepreneurs. And what I find is you don't even find people to apply for those kind of opportunities. So what I feel like happens with entrepreneurs is that they don't take advantage of opportunities that they find. If you take a poll, for example, to see how many people have signed up to this program, you'd find out that we have more men than more women, and we can actually check that out at a later date. But what I find is most people don't take advantage of opportunities. They don't have information. They're not in the right communities. They don't do the things that they have to do to actually make sure that they're ready to even get funded. Some of the issues that we found now, because one of the criteria is that you have to be in business for a year before you can apply for this program. And people have been sending me messages that, oh, I've started my business for over 2 years, but I'm not registered. How are you going to get funded if you're not even registered? So the mindset is not even right from day one. You're not doing the right things. You're not paying your taxes. There are a lot of things that you have to do to get ready for funding if eventually you're going to be funded. But if you don't have all those things in place, nobody's going to want to fund you. If nobody's going to fund a business that is not properly structured, maybe doesn't even have a board of directors, things like that. So I think those are some of the issues that entrepreneurs need to understand at the beginning of their businesses. Your branding has to be on point. All those little details that will separate you from the other people in the market actually make the difference. And trust me, funding would follow. There are grants everywhere, there are opportunities everywhere. You just need to plug into the right networks, right communities, and have that mindset right, so that when those opportunities come, you're better prepared and positioned to take advantage of those opportunities.
Right, thank you so much, Ayo. I think you're absolutely right that if people have the position, make themselves attractive for funding, they will find that people actually are even offering to invest in their businesses. And I think it ties into what nicely to what GB was speaking about. So first and foremost, have you been able to make yourself, look credible for funding through registration, as you mentioned? And second, what value are you adding? How relevant are you in the market? Why would anybody want to fund you if you don't have a potential market to sell to? And for you to be able to sell, you have to be relevant. So with this, I think I understand that Dr. Hafiz is having connectivity issues. So while he's trying to connect, I think we can just quickly move on to our Q&A, because we have several questions really burning to be answered. Now, let's begin to take the questions one after the other. The first question says, how can an SME survive in a country with ever-changing government policies? Right now, government wants to charge logistics companies over 1 million naira just to exist. If they are able to survive and pay this amount, these fees will be passed on to their clients, who are mostly SMEs. We all agree that digital platforms is the new frontier, but we need logistic partners to deliver our products and services. We all agreed that telecoms will not be at the level it is now if not for the open and enabling markets that was created. We need to afford SMEs the same open and enabling environments. So I don't know who would like to comment on this. Should I go to Ifedayo, the last speaker?
Okay.
Your thoughts on this?
Okay, so in my opinion, I feel like government policies will always come, and those are some of the things that you have to take into consideration whenever you're building your business model. Whenever, I know there's a whole talk about personal analysis and all of that you need to understand when you're doing your business, and government policies are one of those things. They will come, but I think you just have to find a way to maneuver those trying times. For example, I know that that law of paying 1 million naira for logistics companies is really painful. But what I would say to anybody who wants to go into the logistics company is that if government doesn't change it, what next? What are you going to do? So I don't feel like anybody should complain. Even if you're going to complain, start looking for ways to come over that barrier, because that's the only thing that will keep you in business. I don't like to complain too much. I just like to say, okay, this is the problem. This is what has happened now. How am I going to get over this hurdle? And that's how I've been able to operate my businesses since I've started. So what I would say to any entrepreneur is, problems will come. If it's not government policy, it's another policy, it's something that can happen, it's a legal issue, it's something. Just try to look at every hurdle as something else to cross. For me, I feel like if you're in business and the barrier to entry is even higher, it's better for you to be in that sort of environment, because you know that you're not going to have too much competition. So just try as much as possible as you can to pass through every hurdle, and at the end of the day, you pull through. 1 million naira is a lot of money, and I understand that it's a lot of money, but try to look at everything as an opportunity to rise above others. That's how I look at challenges in my own business.
I just want to add a bit to that, could I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So while I agree with what Ifedayo said, you know, that business has to go on anyway, I do feel that entrepreneurs and SMEs should come together to form associations so that there is a way to lobby government and advocate for better environments. So of course, we know it's difficult, but you have to keep on your business, but also to, you know, to lobby government in some areas so that they get a better understanding of what is required. That shouldn't disrupt your going ahead, but I do think that where you have better ease of doing business, SMEs, a lot more of them would thrive than where it's a difficult environment. So I think there are some associations already, but I think they need to be more vocal, to have policy issues written in papers and meeting with the National Assembly and all those kind of things to advocate for SMEs.
Absolutely.
What she said is actually very, very important. There was something that happened recently with Sweet Kiwi Store, and she's one of the partners in the AGS Tribe ecosystem, where, you know, she received a letter to say that they had to leave the building or they were going to tear it down and all of that. And, you know, everyone came together and, you know, they tried to stop that. And she's not even in Nigeria at the moment, but everyone came together and the governor said, okay, we're going to put it on hold so that we can get everything in order, so that, you know, whatever was supposed to happen wouldn't happen, especially at that time. So advocacy and all of that is very, very key. That's why I said in the beginning, you know, join communities and all of that can help you amplify your voice as an SME or and stuff. So yes, what she said is super, super important, because I've seen it work in different ways. If you can't even get government to react immediately, you can get support in terms of maybe funding or crowdfunding or something through whatever association you're a part of, and, you know, it would reduce the effect that it has on you as an SME.
Okay, all right. I can see you, Dr. Arya, but just to quickly round up saying that both approaches actually work. The first approach, which is try and see the bright side of every apparent disappointment, the silver lining under every cloud. So yes, it looks expensive, but hey, guess what? It means that there's a barrier that filters the number of players, the quality of players who play in that sector, okay? And then, of course, with creativity also, you can find ways to diffuse that cost. You don't have to always pass on the cost directly to the customer. On the other hand, it's always helpful to have an association to proactively lobby government before unfavorable policies are, you know, slammed on the industry. That's what's done all over the world. And it's lacking here because people tend to find it difficult to come together, but we just have to find a way to come together for collective survival. Okay, so I think the two things are compatible and possible. Right, so Dr. Hafiz has joined us, and I'll just quickly ask my question to Dr. Hafiz before we continue with the questions and answers. So you're welcome, Dr. Hafiz. So my question to you is, you operate in the healthcare sector, but also run an entrepreneurship accelerator. So what do you consider as critical success factors for businesses that you seek to train? What are the main things you think they should know? Right.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you just come up with the question? I didn't really hear the question the last time.
Okay, so I was saying, I know you operate in the healthcare sector. You've come up with a great value addition, which is to digitize the healthcare records in many hospitals in the country. Fantastic. But I also know that you run an entrepreneurship accelerator.
Yes.
So my question is, what do you consider from your experience with dealing with entrepreneurs in your accelerator to be the critical success factors for businesses?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So from all the experience, there are about 2 or 3 factors that always recur with most of the entrepreneurs that come on board. The most important one is usually, it's funny, but it's usually the cash flow. And that's why I probably like the question you asked about funding. So cash flow is always a recurring problem because all the time they do not know how to balance between positive cash flow, negative cash flow. So sometimes they bootstrap, yes, they get the funding, but at the end of the day, because they don't know whether to spend money on your current expenditures, capital, they end up hiring the best employees, quote unquote. They bring in the best hands, quote unquote. They start to do digital solutions. So what I always say is this, so always manage your cash flow. In fact, if possible, start very lean. Don't even talk about the technology first. Don't talk about the people you want to hire. Just talk about the passion and the goal you want to achieve. If you can stick to the passion, you will find the right fit and you will build it gradually. So a few of them, usually 3 out of 10 that come out through the Smart Hub and through the accelerator program, usually succeed. And usually they're the ones that already have figured out the business before they started. Most other ones try to iterate so fast. So for me, the first fundamental is being able to manage cash flow. The second one is cutting costs. I know sometimes I shouldn't say it, but I always say it. I say we have to cut costs. Sometimes they think that when funding comes, it means that we can scale. So we should be careful, and that's for entrepreneurs. Let's be careful to scale. It took me 10 years, or maybe 9 years to decide to scale. When we started with Maitama Hospital in 2013, and that was a general hospital, but we didn't start from there. We started with Abuja Clinics in 2010. So it took us 3 years to be able to decide that, okay, we're ready to go to Maitama Hospital. And it took us another 2 years, that's in 2016, to get to Asoko, to take 2 hospitals at once. And when we decided to take 3 hospitals, Kubwa General Hospital, Buhari General Hospital, and Gwarinpa, it took us another 1 year, that's 2017. So we had to be sure that we had the right capacity and we're not scaling too fast. So don't take too many customers, even if you have access to the market. Take customers that you can manage and use feedback to increase the problem. So for me, the summary will be that apart from managing cash flow, it's also to be able to cut costs. The third one will be, I use this word very easily, cashing on assets. Know when, I'm sorry to use the word, but know when to sell. Know when to tell your best hand to go away. Sometimes you might have to fire your best hand. If your best hand is taking a chunk of your fund available, make sure he has built in such a way that the system is sustainable. Then make him understand that when we have more funds, we're going to be able to take care of you. So don't try to take care of everybody, because sometimes the funders actually take up all the cash that is available. Also getting a business line of credit, if that's helpful. It's not always very easy from my own point of view, but if you're doing something that you think is enterprise related, you can always attack line of credits. Line of credits for me allow businesses to run more. Maybe small things like invoicing, small things that we forget about. Small business, they tell them I've made a sale. Don't make a sale without an invoice. Be able to track your sales, be able to use, if you have 5 hospitals, know what it took to get to 5 hospitals, because it allows you to plan when you have 15 clients. So 5, you know what to do times 5 to get to 25. So for me, small things like invoicing will help. But at the end of the day, the point is that I say all the time, remember the goals why you started. Don't get distracted by scaling, by funding. Always remember why you started. So for me, this bit of information has always helped those that have probably grown with us to withstand the whole rigors of our own kind of ecosystem. Yeah.
Right, thank you very much, Dr. Hafiz. So I hear you talk about starting small while thinking big. In other words, start, test your model, refine before you begin to embark on replication. Okay, so be clear about that what you're doing is working before you attempt to expand to different locations. Otherwise, the whole thing can collapse. I also hear you state that you must be clear about your purpose. Why did you start? Okay, it's beyond just to make money. Okay, what value are you creating? What problem are you starting to solve? And if you're really passionate about solving that problem, it helps you to be more resilient. I remember Bumi talking about being determined when you're in business, and that is always required, whether you're in Nigeria or not, because there are all kinds of challenges all over the world that businesses face. Okay, so even in your workplace, you realize that there are times you go through difficult periods, whether you're in a bank or in an oil company. There are challenges everywhere. So, but if you're resilient about the value you're trying to provide and you're passionate about it, it allows you, it gives you staying power, helps you with that determination. Right, so thank you so much, and I hope our SMEs are are listening. So, so Hafiz, what we did was go ask each panelist a question and then move to the Q&A. So we're already set up the Q&A, so I'll just continue with the questions I'm seeing here. So the next question says, is just saying, since the number of SMEs that will eventually benefit from this program at the end of the section is only 200, I would suggest a joint ideas between persons with like minds. If that works, and I believe it will equally bring about sharing ideas and solving issues together. Sorry. So let me just quickly clarify. The REV program is open to everybody to learn from. It's a training program, a capacity building program that everybody can gain from. At the end of the program is when the 200 will be selected and given more assistance in growing their business. But everybody stands to gain right from this launch event where we're answering your questions and from the master classes that will follow starting from tomorrow. So please don't get too hooked on the 200 who will be selected. You stand to gain a lot right from today. Okay, so just focus on what you can learn for your business. And I'm sure that hopefully you will be one of the 200. 200 is a large number. So I think many of you stand a chance of being selected. And your selection will be based on the quality of your participation in each of the master classes. So at the end of this question and answer session, you will have a chance to go through the dates of the program. So you just try to be present and participate. And from the level of passion and seriousness that you show, you can easily qualify to be one of the 200 who will be selected. I hope that clarifies the questions regarding the 200 at the end of the day. So let me see now. So somebody's asking, what are the simple ways to register with CAC? Okay, any panelists for this? I mean, it's quite a simple one. What are the simple ways to register? Please.
Yeah, I think the company's registration actually has an online platform now that you can actually do the registration online. And even with the new CAMA now, even just one person can register a company. You don't need to have at least 2 people. So it's been made quite simple. So just go online, search for registering a business in Nigeria. I'm sure their website will come up on, if you do a Google search.
What this question also brings up to mind for me is the fact that we need to have an entrepreneurial ecosystem. The new CAMA is out. I suspect that most entrepreneurs, most SMEs are not even aware of what CAMA is or of what it is to them. You know, so I think we need to have an ecosystem, a place that people can go to and all this information is available to them. I've met 1 or 2 young lawyers who have tried to provide this service to SMEs, but again, it depends on who knows them, how many people you know. You know, I only got to know about the Flutterwave store when I was speaking with GB. And I think it's such a great initiative because that removes the burden of rent and a lot of other things and gives you a ready market, because if 6,000 people are already on that platform, it means that you are in a mall already. That's a mall. That's even bigger than many physical schools. Okay. Already foot traffic. Okay, so GB, great initiative. And that's part of building an ecosystem for entrepreneurs to survive and thrive. But we definitely need people who can break down the kind of information that is I've read the CAMA and I know that less than 20% of Nigerians will read and understand that. Okay, so we need people who can help people understand that these opportunities are there. Or maybe the government also needs to put radio jingles, television adverts to help people understand all the opportunities that have been created through this updated CAMA. All right, so
I wanted to add to what you just said just now. We have something called the AGS Daily Juice, where we send out information like this that can help the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and it's free. So people can just go on and sign up, and then they get an email every day with new information that can help them, help their businesses and all of that. So we send that out every day, the AGS Daily Juice. So if anyone wants to hear it.
How do people find AGS Daily Juice? Are you on Instagram or LinkedIn?
So on Instagram, it's AGS Tribe, but you can go on our website to register to sign up to the newsletter, which is agstribe.org. And once they go on the website, they can just sign up and they get the emails every day.
Okay. Emails that provide information about the CAMA or just general?
About general information, even on grants, entrepreneurship opportunities, scholarships, fellowships, things that can help their businesses generally. We send it out every day.
Awesome. I think that I don't know how we're going to solve this problem of communication, because I hear you, you know, and I'm wondering how more people can know about these opportunities. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, for all the SMEs who are here, just knowing about GB's Flutterwave store and Ifedayo's AGS, AGS, what do you call it again?
AGS Tribe. So it's AGS Tribe as a whole.
Okay, AGStribe.org and the AGS, no, the daily, the aspect that's
Daily Juice. Daily Juice.
I think that's already amazing information for you. AGS Daily Juice that tells you about grants available, because everybody's talking about, will MTN give me money? I'm not bringing up those questions because really that's not the focus of this session, okay? But what Ikoda is telling you is that if you have a good business proposition, if you're really adding value and you have some traction already, you're selling, it's not so difficult to get funding because there are people who are willing to support SMEs who are doing good business, who are doing a good job. But you must be doing a good job, okay? Right.
Yeah, let me also add to that sometimes I think Google is also our friend. Go online yourself, whatever the question that is on your mind, just type that question in Google and you'll be amazed at the information that comes out. I also want to point out that for SMEs that are in the education sector, you know, Edfin Microfinance Bank provides funding for those sectors. And then if you go to our website too, there's specific information for those who run school business. So you can actually go to that website as well. But typically, once you type any question in, you would see it. So one of the things I see SMEs do is that they don't take that initiative to ask those questions or find out the right sources to do so. So they need to be more proactive in trying to get information. But I like your idea about having a hub where there's sort of information. I recall that there was a time there was this SME toolkit that was being done, I think was the World Bank initiative and Lagos Business School as well, to put up information up there so that SMEs have access to information. Because information is king in everything that you do. You certainly need that.
But just a quick clarification. Are you saying that Edfin provides, is it funding to only people who are running schools, or do you provide funding to students who need a scholarship? So for example, an LBS MBA or someone who wants to go to Pan Atlantic University or any other university?
Yeah, so we also provide tuition loans, yes, if you want to go to further your education. So for, in fact, we are having direct talks with the Lagos Business School regarding that. So you can apply for those loans to be able to fund your tuition and even professional exams, you know, anything around education that helps to improve knowledge. That is what we do. We provide funding for that, yes.
Okay, wow, fantastic. Okay.
Okay, I was going to add something also.
Yes, yes.
Yes, so because over the years, I realized that most of the funds I have as an entrepreneur have probably spent, though healthcare is a bit sensitive, over probably 300 million naira, has actually just been on the technical side, that's software developers. So the truth is this, no matter how much you talk about entrepreneurship, no matter how much you tell small businesses that focus on the business, on the goals, on the market before the technology, the truth is you really can't do any business now without technology. At the end of the day, they still need a mobile app or they need a website or they just need this. So I know that that's the fundamental, but I try to let them keep their spending a bit low. So what we did over the last 3 years is that, 2 years, is that the Smart Hub now has, on Instagram, most of the younger people know it. So we have Smart Hub Kenya, we have Smart Hub Accra, and we have South Africa. So what we now do is that we now have virtual classes for those entrepreneurs that now want to have the skills to be able to develop their own website. So that's the coding part. So ensure that we try to empower the entrepreneurs and ensure that the founder himself does not need to bring in a tech founder and offer all the equity of 50% because he doesn't know how to code. And the co-founder will have to do all the website. So he can retain equity, his ownership, but they'll get the soft skills that will allow him to at least do CSS, do JavaScript, create your website a bit, reduce your cost. Even if it's going to take you 6 weeks to do it, do it. And once you do it, you'll reduce the money on your technical spend. Then you can now focus on doing a launch, creating some noise. So what we do is that we do, I think, 8 weeks courses for those, but it has to be a group. because coding, getting the software engineers to teach always can be a bit, to get them committed, they also have to be motivated. So we group them in batches. So when they have about 30 or 40, we can now bring them together and then put them on virtual classes, and then they learn how to do them.
All right. Again, I think what you've just said, Hafiz, is really, really important for all those listening. You're again offering another strong support for tech entrepreneurs, or even if you're in the healthcare sector. As you rightly say, no matter where you are right now, everybody needs to have some form of technology. So how do people know or reach your platform or location for this training? I guess now platform, because everything is
digital. Yeah.
Yes.
So on Instagram, which, yeah, they know this. So just the Smart Hub, THESMARTUB. So once they just go to the Smart Hub on Instagram.
The Smart Hub.
Yes, the Smart Hub. Yeah.
I hope those listening are taking this down, the Smart Hub, to train you to become self-sufficient for most of your digital needs, at least at the start of your business, so that you save money and your cash flow is fine. So I guess you're answering the questions I'm seeing here. Someone says, how can MTN support a telemedicine company with broadband network infrastructure? And the second one related says, how can SMEs, especially those of us in tech, partner with MTN to leverage on some of their services to push out our products to our target markets? Okay, so I guess MTN is listening. The panelists here are more geared towards helping you survive as entrepreneurs, as SMEs, than specifically to what MTN can do for you. But I'm sure MTN is taking note of these questions and will, Dr. Hafiz has put it at the smarthub.com.ng. Okay, brilliant. I think these are really, really useful resources that can make a significant difference to what it is you're doing. But remember, technology doesn't work on its own. Link it to your purpose. What are you trying to achieve? And then be able to understand the kind of technology you need to help you achieve your goals. Don't go for technology just for the sake of being techie, okay? Right, so from MTN, they're saying we will address a lot of the questions that are specific to MTN in the subsequent master classes. Fantastic. Okay, let me see now. Okay, Flutterwave Store, it has also provided its details. Please, I'm still confused about the clarity of this program. What do I stand to benefit as a small business? What value do I bring in return? So I repeat, this is the launch event for a series of master classes that will provide trainings to SMEs to help you acquire the skills required to strengthen, to survive and thrive, to strengthen the way you run your businesses, to run your businesses better. It's at the end of the program that 200 of you will be helped to do more for your business in terms of marketing, technology, and all kinds of advertisement, branding support, and all of that. So this is meant to be an opportunity to train you, and training is what SMEs really need, even much more than funding, because if you receive the money and you're not trained to understand how to use the money well, it will not help your business. So training is much more important for you than funding, because once you're trained and you have and you really want to provide value, it's very easy for you to use the money that comes judiciously, or you will easily have customers and you won't even find yourself looking for money. And should you need funding, it will come to you more easily because there'll be a track record of you knowing what you're doing. Okay, I'm seeing.
Yeah, I wanted to, can I come in while you're looking for the question? There was an interesting question that came up there, that someone said, if you try to raise capital from friends, family, and you still can't, what should you then do? And I wanted to share an interesting story. When I was at Faith Foundation, there were cocoa farmers, and this young entrepreneur wanted to create internet access at that time. So at that time, there wasn't internet. I mean, there weren't telcos and everybody there. So what he did, because he couldn't afford the capital to raise the money, was to get the customers to actually pay in advance for the services he wanted to provide. And using that funding, he was now able to set up. So sometimes people always say, oh, I don't have money, I don't have money. If you are truly adding value, you'll be surprised that even some of your customers will be the ones who will fund you to actually start. So because it's true, we live in a country where poverty is really high. So it may be difficult to raise capital, but ask your customers to pay in advance and upfront. So that's one way also to be able to raise startup funding.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that the reason why people were paying that cocoa farmer in advance was because they had already seen his cocoa and seen that it was good. So they have the confidence.
Exactly.
In advance. So just do a little of what it is you want to offer the market. Once people begin to value what you're doing, then they can agree to pay you, give you some advance payment. That's what we call spontaneous financing. Okay. Or you take good credit and promise to pay at the end of the month when you would have sold. So there are different ways to reduce your fund so that to cushion the effect, to help your cash flow remain. Okay, so this is part of the what you get in training to help you run your business to a point where you have some track record, no matter how little, to facilitate more funding, to attract funding. Okay, so just remember, use what you have to get what you want. It is possible to start with what you have. Now, very quickly, another question. In a developed country, we discovered that the usage of internet for digital marketing is free as part of the benefits they enjoyed in making digital marketing accessible. What is the government doing with the communication industry to digitalize Nigeria with constant internet facility? GB, what are your thoughts on this, please? You have the question again? GB, you need to.
Yes, you tapped out, yes, thank you.
Okay, so it says in a developed country, we discovered that usage of internet for digital marketing is free as part of the benefits they enjoy in making digital marketing accessible. What is the government doing with the communication industry to digitalize Nigeria with constant internet facility?
Well, my answer there will be, we've seen the infrastructure that I think the government has made available, which obviously birth companies like MTN and the rest of them, right? To create an enabling environment for telcos to provide internet connectivity in Nigeria. That is already there. I think what we need government to do is just providing more of such enabling infrastructure for folks, for the companies in that space to be able to penetrate internet connectivity all across Nigeria. A lot of work has been done in that regard, obviously, with regards to, I was a time when there was only 2G available in Nigeria. Now we have 4G, we have LTE available. That is already a success. I think what we need to do is just ensure that we spread that across everywhere in Nigeria. And I think almost everywhere today, almost everywhere in the country today, you've got very great internet connection all over. I think the infrastructure is there. It's left to us entrepreneurs to take that and use it to scale our business, to find the right information that we require to be able to find resources that can help us to scale what we're doing.
Yeah, I think you're right, GB, because there is LinkedIn, there is Instagram, there's WhatsApp business, there's Facebook business. So I think it's also a general mentality that I see, mindset. We have to be solution-driven more than problem-driven. Governments in anywhere else cannot give you everything. There's a lot available. I know many people, for instance, who don't have inventory. Just go to somebody who has nice Ankara, somebody who has nice shoes or belts or fascinators, take pictures, put it on their Instagram page. When somebody says, I'd like to buy this, they give a price. Once the person pays, they go to the person who owns it, pay for the goods at an agreed price, and they deliver to the person. They don't have inventory. They're just using the pictures they've taken and based on the agreement with the people on the platform. And that's a good way to start, to get some capital, to eventually give you maybe to buy your own laptop. Okay, because all you need for now is a smartphone. So there are many resources available. Let's not let government that is very far away from us stifle what we can do for ourselves. Okay, so it says, my question is about transportation. As an entrepreneur, mostly our profit goes through transport. Well, so who would like to, I don't know exactly what it says. How do we access the financial support? As an SME who is into livestock farming, how do I expand my business digitally and earn more knowledge as regards to management skills? Okay. Anybody would like to take this? Dr. Hafiz, would you like, it says, as an SME who is into livestock farming, how do I expand my business not digitally and earn more knowledge as regards to management skills?
Did you say not digitally, or did you say digitally?
So, digitally, yes. They want to expand. So the person is in livestock farming and he wants to expand his business digitally.
Yeah. Okay, so clear. And I'll make it as clear as I can. The first one, because it can be very expansive. Even it's already an expansive market or value chain. So the first thing is to set SMART goals. And I'm going to have to use the word set SMART goals. Don't try to do everything. Livestock can be very, very demanding, and you cannot have all the angles covered as much as you can. So what you do is that pick the part of livestock you want to do. If you want to do the rearing part, or you want to do the transportation part, or you want to do the taking to the market or cutting or the butchering or selling or whatever part of it, set very smart goals that are achievable. Don't do everything in livestock. That's the first one. The second one is that ensure that you have a team. Livestock farming is obviously not a one-man job. Even you yourself being there, you don't have all the control. So if you're ready to do it, you already know that you have the passion. You need to build a team of 2, a team of 4, a team of 5. Don't consider anybody too small. The security man that is guarding or providing security, the person that is selling, that is going to take it to the market, everybody is important. So in other words, once you have a team, now set well-defined roles. It's important to allow everybody to know their role. Don't let everybody do everything. The person that is providing water, let him know that it's my job to provide water at this time. These are things you can do. They look small, but trust me, if you do them consistently, it becomes like a protocol, like something that it's religious. You have to do it. So perform well-defined roles. The other one is to ensure that you embrace diversity. So diversity in methodology. So don't let it be just your well-educated friend. For livestock, you need the local man. He might be your best resource person. You need the guy that knows the way of the land. You need everybody. So set up your team in such a way that you're not thinking about people that are like you. Pick everybody that matters down the line. So ensure that you embrace diversity. Then most importantly, ensure that even though you have diversity, there is a common culture. So if the culture is that at this time, the cats or the cows, they go in, or the chickens or whatever the stock you want to do, ensure that the methodology you use is similar, is uniform, is not always different. So ensure that even though you have embraced diversity, the team knows that there's a common culture. Ensure that you allow them to know that this is how I do things. Stamp your authority, but I'm going to give you a note of caution. While stamping your authority, understand that you must be accountable to the team. So the moment you have a team, ensure that everybody, even the security man, knows that, look, I took this small chicken, but put it inside invoice. No saying I me sell them. And that once you put it, let me write it down. Let him know that even you're accountable. So they start to get the culture that even Oga, once he touches one, we all know that he has taken it. So ensure that you are accountable to the team. And lastly, maybe the most important, communicate effectively. Ensure that if you're using phone calls to communicate, let everybody know that Oga is going to call me if they're going to bring food. Oga is going to call me if somebody is going to make a sale. Oga is going to call. So me too, I must call Oga when somebody comes. So ensure that communication, whatever type of communication skill you use or technique you use, ensure that it's effective. If you can do that, I think you might be able to do well in such a place that it looks easy, but it's not that easy. But once it actually works, it's beautiful.
Okay. All right. So very quickly, regarding the technology side, digitalizing side, I don't know if you saw the video of the lady who went to Makoko. I was teaching girls how to code. And the girl who said she has now written a code to help her father, who is a fisherman, be able to sell his fish directly to the hotels, rather than the middleman who will price him for peanuts and then make money a lot more from selling to the hotels. So I think that there are apps that already exist, even for agribusiness, not just livestock farming. I think the Elomelu, I think Affects Commodities or so, they have these apps. The apps are available. As Bumi said, we need to do some homework ourselves to see what is available for us to use to connect you to large-scale users. So maybe if you have a piggery and you want to connect to Eco Hotel because they want pork on a large scale, or any of the other hotels around, Federal Palace, Sofitel, that is already available. But I'm sure during the master classes, you will learn more about this in the section on digital technology, and you'll be helped. Now, there's a very interesting question here from OSC College of Fashion. It says, getting highly skilled staff has been a challenge in my industry, fashion and garments. I own OSC College of Fashion. We train people to become skilled, and also own a mass production garment factory in Lagos. The students we have trained do not want to work for anyone. How do we get those who will work for the numerous fashion companies that email us every day that they want to hire our students? Anybody wants to take a stab at that? I could answer it, but it would be nice for one of the panelists to answer. Okay, so very quickly, so we can take more questions. So, yeah, anybody would like to answer it?
No, I was going to say you should answer it because I know who asked the question.
I too. So basically, the point is, time has come for employers to also understand that there should be a win-win relationship between them and the employees. So if someone has taken time to train with you and maybe paid good money and sees that she can give value, it means that to attract them, the offer has to be good enough. And there also has to be remuneration. So remember that when we were children, we had maids that were just happy to, come and stay in your house, have food to eat, and probably go to school. But today, maids are being paid. Similarly, for a long time, we've had tailors that have just learned by apprenticeship and didn't really see themselves of much value, and therefore we're happy to just have a job where they were paid peanuts. Now, for someone who is certified and trained, if the remuneration is not good enough, they will naturally not go there, because they know that if they work on their own, if they're good tailors, they will make more money on their own. So for them to decide to work for somebody, the offer has to be good enough. Okay, and that is possible if you give people, if you pay people based on performance. I've always thought that paying people a fixed salary, irrespective of their performance, is the most demotivating thing on earth. It doesn't matter that it is common, okay? What matters is for us to think, what will create motivation for my staff? So people are motivated when they see that they're being rewarded for their effort. If I'm a very, very good if I'm good at tailoring and I know the value of my skills, I won't take a standard salary that any untrained person will take. Okay, so I think it's on the part of the fashion designers, it is up to them to attract them with a more with a better pay package, okay, to offer a more attractive pay package, and then they will get them. But I think it's also good because even they themselves, when they start, they will need apprentices to help them, because the more customers you get, the more support you need. You can't do everything yourself. So they will also understand that they need to be attractive enough once their apprentices are well trained to retain those apprentices. So I think it's a good problem, because life is expensive. There's no point paying people non-living wages and pretending that it should be enough for them because they're just tailors. Okay, so anybody who has gone through your school is not just a tailor. She is a certified expert and has a skill that is to be valued. So that will be my take on it, because people want to go where they can earn a decent living. Okay, and I think that's fair enough. Right, let me see if we can sneak in one more question, because we're meant to be rounding up by 1 o'clock. Let me see now. So many of the questions are specific. Those will be answered during the master courses.
There are a number of questions about raising startup funding. So, I've been wanting to, I've put some things there. There are actually a number of networks that actually focus on startup funding. For instance, I'm also a member of the Lagos Angel Network, a group of angels who try to invest in startup funding. So your business should have started somewhat, maybe 6 months, a year, but you then present the idea to the network. So if you just search for Lagos Angel Network, you will find them. You could send an email and you'll be able to do a pitch. But there are others as well. If you do a search for the venture capital firms in Nigeria, you'll find a number of hubs and groups of what we call angels. Angels are just basically people who take the risk with a startup company as well, do seed capital so that proper financing can then happen at a later stage. So do a search online, they are there. But your business idea has to truly add value. That's what we're looking for, and that it is in an area where the market or the customers are in a growth area. So do a search on that and you will find various options online.
Okay, thank you so much.
People also, in addition to what she just said, looking for funding, we currently have a program right now where we're giving 1,500,000 naira to entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs in Nigeria. So you can literally just apply. All you need to do is to upload a 1-minute pitch of your video, of your business. Obviously, the business has to be valuable and you have to be running for at least a year. So I look forward to receiving the application, and I hope someone from here wins this program. We've had 6 people who have won in the past, and their businesses have transformed up until now. And they've also gone further to get further funding, $100,000 within the AGS Tribe ecosystem and network of funders. So please apply, and I'm sure, with all the things that you've done today, I'm sure you're putting your best to putting up a good pitch video.
Okay, so the very last question is also this one is Ifedaya, and it says, at what point do you think an SME needs a board or constituted structure? A lot of SMEs see that see a board like a big thing, and for the big boys in the economy. Okay, so Ifedaya, can you answer that in 2 minutes so we can round up?
You can have a board maybe a year after, so that you even know what you need a board for. So at least run for about a year, and then after that, then I think you can get an advisory board to help you and structure your business and also give you good governance. I always say wait at least a year. Who might say, oh, at the beginning, but I feel at the beginning you don't really know what you need, you don't really know what you want and all of that. So yes, please wait at least a year.
Okay, so very quickly, a board is like a group of mentors that helps you with your business. Okay, so you don't have to pay them. So don't see it as a, you may not call it a board, but I'm sure you go to different people you think can give you advice as to where you can get resources or how you can get things done. So a board is just making them a formal unit and people who are interested in helping you and your business.
Yeah.
At the beginning, they don't expect you to pay them when they see that you're just a small, struggling company. But of course, when you grow and you're making money, I mean, I'm not expecting to also empty your bank account on them, but just to show appreciation for their time. Okay, so don't feel that you need to be very, very big. Okay, a board should be made up of people who can really help you either get funding or understand how to go about what it is you're doing, or can open doors for you, stuff like that. Not just a big name to say, well, so and so is on my board. No, they're a group of people who can advise in various aspects of the business, and they're usually a huge assistance. They accelerate your progress. Right, so we've run out of time, but what I can say for sure is that even if this is the only thing you've attended in the MTN Rev program, I think a lot has been said here to help you think about the way you should look at business. Notice that Bumi also mentioned, and also Ifedayo, that what they look out for in funding you is the value you're adding. Okay, because the reason is simple. If you're not adding value, nobody wants to buy from you. Okay, remember, we're in a pandemic and most economies are entering a recession. Many people have lost their jobs. They don't have money to throw around. So for people to decide to pay you, it must be that what you're offering them is relevant, is needed, is solving a problem for them. Okay, so this is like a check on your business. Ask yourself, what is my mission? What do I exist to solve? What need do I exist to meet? This is so important for most of the challenges you're finding with funding. Okay? So when you're doing something good, the funding will be easily released to you. Okay. Next, mindset of resilience. Problems are not meant to stop you. They're meant to be overcome. To every problem, there's a solution. Always look around for the silver lining under every cloud. So COVID, for example, has brought a lot of problems and threats, but then there are also a lot of opportunities. I'm sure Flutterwave store would not have existed but for COVID, which has made many people, have to pivot or, maybe become unable to pay their rent. And so they can now have a space online, a digital store online, okay? And of course, as Dr. Hafiz said, manage your funds, okay? Be very frugal, especially at the beginning stages. Be very frugal. Find ways to manage your costs. What you can lease, what you can rent, do not buy. Okay. If you can pay later, don't pay immediately. Okay. Those are ways of getting spontaneous financing, getting goods on credit, or asking people to pay in advance. All these are tips to help you manage your scarce funds, or trade by barter. You don't have to pay for everything. You can exchange goods for some services that you require. Okay. Right. So I hope this has been useful to the entrepreneurs, to the SMEs listening. I encourage you to take part in the master classes. I'm going to hand over now to Nwaji, who will detail the dates of the master classes to you. And I wish you all good luck. And I hope that you are one of the 200 who will be selected for extra support from the MTN Rev program. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. And Nwaji, over to you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Henrietta. That was an absolutely amazing session. And it was just very interesting and exciting to hear the different panelists go through the different conversations that were had, you know, especially things on enabling environments for entrepreneurs, looking at funding, properly structuring businesses, challenges of doing business in Nigeria, branding and customer service, best practice for entrepreneurs when conducting business, what SMEs can do on their own part, and also how best to bridge the digital divide in businesses that are traditionally not connected digitally. So it's a very rich discussion, Dr. Henrietta, and I'd like to thank you and all the panelists for a very wonderful, robust conversation. So at this point, I would just like to give the closing remarks to the COO of MTN Nigeria, Mazen, who will just give us some closing remarks, and then I'll just come back with some final words, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, all right, Mazen, over to you.
Thank you very much. Standing on all existing protocols, it is clearly obvious that today has been an exciting and important day indeed. For many small, medium enterprises, it marks the beginning of the journey of alignment with the digital economy. We have always believed in SMEs, and SMEs are the wheels that turning up and driving any economy, and that positioning them for growth, meaning empowering and enabling them with the right digital solutions. The speeches and the discussions we have heard today reaffirm this belief. We are so delighted that through the MTN Rev program, we shall be turning up yet again our unwavering support for the Nigerian economy. The MTN Nigeria leadership is so proud to be leading this charge and can't wait for SMEs to start benefiting from the many master classes that would be held starting from tomorrow. With expertise covering all major aspects of the businesses, every SME owner who attends this program will definitely relearn, rethink, and retool their business for growth and success during the Beyond This program. In the course of the next few months, SMEs are going to enjoy different forms of market visibility, relevant technology products and services, as well as advisory services at no cost to them. It is indeed an experience we are so proud to be part of. We call on all other corporate entities and members of the private sector operating in Nigeria to start and join the efforts in developing the SMEs in Nigeria and continue creating the required capacity building. On behalf of the board and management of MTN Nigeria, I would like to thank the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, as well as the Honorable Minister of Industry and Trade and Investment, who in spite of their busy schedules, honored us with their presence today. I would like also to thank the EVC of the NCC for always showing support for our initiatives. There is no better way to confirm that we have their blessing as we embark on this laudable journey. This is what we require to continue to innovate and deliver superior value to the Nigerian markets. We also thank our distinguished panelists and moderator who have so kindly given of their knowledge and experience toward the betterment of our SMEs. This is deeply appreciated, and we look forward to continue working with you on similar initiatives in the future. I do not leave our ecosystem of partners and friends of MTN who are always on hand to support us in our co-creation efforts in order to continually deliver value to the market. Finally, I would like to thank the many SME owners who have attended the lunch today. Without them, this event would not have been a success. We thank you for your participation and engagement, and look forward to hosting you again tomorrow for the first masterclass in the series. We will make sure to respond to all the remaining questions and ensure answers sent to their registered emails. Well done to all involved in turning up the MTN Rev program successfully. Indeed, we are good together. Thank you so much, all of you, and God bless. Till the next time, stay safe everywhere you stay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mazen. Thank you, thank you. We greatly appreciate that. So just some quick housekeeping rules. Responses to all the questions will be provided and issues raised, and that will be done in the Yellow Clinic session. So please watch out for that very explosive session. And then also MTN will provide access to the responses to all their questions via email addresses for those people that registered with their email addresses. And at the same time, you can also visit the website for the answers that you see to all the questions. The website will be published in the chat group. And also please, to all the SMEs, make sure you attend the session that Mazen mentioned that will be taking place tomorrow, and watch out for the other masterclasses and also registration links. The program will run all the way to October, and attending all the masterclasses will increase your chance of being chosen as the final 200 to be selected. Okay, so thank you all so much. Once again, thank you to all our distinguished speakers, all the honorable ministers, the EVCs, the chairman of MTN, the CEO, the COO, our wonderful moderator, Dr. Henrietta, and all the wonderful panelists. I'd like to thank you all for joining a very spirited and very well put together program by MTN. We greatly appreciate your time. This took us 2 hours to do. You can imagine that if we did it physically, we'll probably have taken a lot longer, but we greatly appreciate your time. Thank you all so much. We hope to continue to have more and more of these sessions. Once again, it's been a pleasure. My name is Wad Jubano, and I wish all of you a fantastic afternoon, and do take care of yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye.